So, and I'm in the public's eye, so I can't be one way with one group and another way with another group. I've got to be really positively consistent all the time in my behavior. And it is that consistency for the last 30 years, because I've been famous for 30 years, that you won't find any negative articles where I've insulted someone or where I've berated or treated someone in a negative way. I am what I suggest that I live my life in the manner that I suggest others live their life also. But it's more than, I don't want to go around telling people how to live their life. What I work on doing is being the best Wally Amos that I can be anytime. And if people see that, and if they are inspired by that, and they see the results that I get, and people think that, I've had some accomplishments, and they say, well, how have you done that? Well, I've done that by being a positive person, really, and by being enthusiastic about life, by using my imagination, by being passionate, by doing things that I love to do. Why would I want to spend each day doing something that was a drag or something that I got no satisfaction from at all? So
talk to our children about values, so they discover what their values are, whether it's honesty or integrity or doing what I say I'm going to do. So they identify their values, and then they live from their values so that they are consistent.
Right, but they can only do that if they see you live by your values. Too often, we say one thing and then we go do something else. We tell our children that drinking alcohol is not good for them, and yet we'll go drink alcohol. That smoking is not good for them, and yet we'll go smoke. So, you can't say one thing and be and do something else. You've got to be congruent in your words and your actions.
So even if you've only identified like your top 5 values, it makes decision-making so much easier. For example, if someone, moms, we want to do everything, we want to make everybody happy, but if doing what we say we're going to do or living a balanced life is one of our values, then we can say, oh, thank you for asking me to be a part of that group, but I'm just not able to do that right now because it would just throw me out of balance. So
it's okay to say no, but I think also it's not living your life so you can make everyone else happy. I'm not responsible for anyone else's happiness, not even my wife's or my children. I'm only responsible for Wally's happiness.
Yeah.
And I want to be responsible for Wally's joy above all else, not Wally's happiness, because we're happy if things are in order in the physical world. And then as soon as they get out of order, then our happiness is destroyed and our peace is gone. But I think the joy, again, I'm always looking for what's inside, because it's inside that matters. It's not outside. And joy comes from within. Joy is not predicated on stuff being in order outside of your life. Joy is if you feel comfortable with who you are. If you're happy with who you are, then that's joy. If you've got some type of a spiritual understanding, then you can be joyful. If you don't, then chances are you won't be. So I am not responsible for anyone else's life, and yet I do assist people to some degree on altering their belief system, but simply because of the way I live my life, and people see the results that I get, and they think that those are good results.
Yes, once again, you're modeling.
Right. And we're all models, We're all role models. People look at me and they say, "Oh, you're a great role model."
You mentioned joy, Wally, and I want to talk a little bit about fun as well. We've been interviewing 32 of the top homeschooling and education experts in the country, and they all say the same thing. Homeschooling your children should be fun. Raising your children should be fun. So let's talk about that. Why do you think fun is so important in the way we're raising our children, especially if we want to raise lifelong learners?
Well, I think fun is important in life. I mean, the opposite of fun is depression, and we know that that's not fun. That's not enjoyable. That's not good to have in your life. But it's important to feel good about yourself and to feel good about what you're doing. But I think fun is one of the great prerequisites of waking up in the morning if what I'm doing is not fun and the people I'm doing it with are not fun, I'm going to find something else to do and someone else to do it with. Why go through each day and you don't know how many days you got? So why waste them on drudgery and depression and doing things that you don't enjoy? Because we talked earlier about, doing things that you're passionate about finding what your interests are. So if you follow that path, then you will always be following the path of fun and enjoyment, because you're doing things that hold your attention and that you want to do. So that's why it's important for you to choose what you want. Too often, children do what they think their parents want them to do, and they choose careers that their parents direct them to, and they wind up leading an empty existence, because we're all individuals, and we all learn differently. We don't all learn the same. And so we have to, first of all, determine how does your child learn? I mean, and your child is with you all the time, so observe her and see what makes them tick, and what is it that they're interested in. Because if you're doing what you're interested in doing, you're going to do it well. You're going to enjoy doing it. You're going to look forward to doing it every day. And if you're not, you're going to hate to get up. I remember years ago I worked at the William Morris office, and I'd been there for almost 7 years, and it's a wonderful career there. And then it got to be drudgery. I hated going to work. I lived 100th Street in Central Park West. I used to walk to work on nice days because I just wanted to prolong getting there. So, I mean, you spend too much time working. Why do you want to do things that you're just doing them to make money, or you're doing them for someone else and for other reasons other than the sheer fun and joy of doing them?
I think sometimes people are afraid of fun. They think it's going to be frivolous, and we receive these messages in society, the nose to the grindstone approach, the Puritan work ethic, or the school of hard knocks, that something has to be really hard. You have to work hard at something in order for it to be valued. That if it comes too easily, or if you have too much fun doing it, it's like it doesn't really count.
That's a faulty belief system, you see. And I think also you have to test things out for yourself. You can't go around just believing what others tell you, because people are sharing with you from their experiences, and that might be true for them because maybe that's what their experience has been. But that doesn't have to be true for me. I want to find out what is the truth for Wally Amos, because that's the way I have to live my life. I can't, listen, if you go to a restaurant and you want steak and you allow someone else to order chicken for you, well, then you've missed out on the meal of your choice. So you really, that's what my book Watermelon Magic was about. It was about making your own choices. The power of choice is the greatest thing you have going. And I think the greatest thing we can give our young people is that understanding. Not have them be carbon copies of us, but have them be authentic people, to have them be authentically who they are. And when you give them values, when you help them make right decisions, decisions that are going to not only move their lives forward, but help move the lives of other people forward also, because it's about being a part of community. It's about giving back. It's about philanthropy. It's about serving. I heard a minister friend once, Sam Hines, say that the only reason we exist is to serve one another. It's not how much money you can get, how big a title you can get, how important a job you can get. Those things are all based on low self-esteem. And what we need to do is we need to develop young people who really know who they are and feel good about who they are, not about what kind of clothes they wear or where they live or what kind of car they drive.
Well, please talk about that a little bit more, because low self-esteem is a terrible problem for youth of today.
Well,
So how can we prevent it again and help our children to know who they are and to feel good about themselves? Because, of course, then they'll be able to resist peer pressure better. And there's so many pressures on the next generation that we didn't have.
But that comes also from doing some of the things that we've talked about, by focusing on the positive, by focusing on the things that they do right and not the things that they do wrong. Not always saying no. we beat our kids up so much, and we criticize them, and we condemn them, and we compare them to other children and to other people, and you can't be compared because there's no one like you.